all your photo, video, and voiceover needs, check out the fine folks at Blueberry Productions. They will take good care of you. If you don't believe me, you can see for yourself. Check out their work at blueberryproductions.tv, the Facebook page, Blueberry Productions, also a Vimeo page, a YouTube page, and it's Blueberry, BLUBERRY, Prod on Twitter. Check them out today. Blueberry Productions, great people, great work, great service.
Hey there, your yard took a real beating this summer. Luckily, Scott's Turf Builder Winter Guard has your back. Just feed your grass with Scott's again this fall when the air is cool and the soil is warm. It's the perfect time to give your lawn a boost. If you do, Winter Guard will give your yard the nourishment it needs to help weak, thin grass recover and support root growth, giving you a greener, more resilient lawn both now and next spring. Guaranteed. Grab a bag of Scott's Turf Builder Winter Guard today. You'll be back to barbecuing in no time. This is a Scott's Yard.
Hey parents, we all try to be extra careful with our children in the car, but then we get an important call or text. Remember, our children are watching. Make every drive a good example. Be in the zone. Turn off your phone. Visit childrenshospital.vanderbilt.org/BITZ to learn more about our teen driver safety program. Brought to you by Monroe Carroll Jr. Children's Hospital at Vanderbilt, the Ford Motor Company Fund, and the Allstate Foundation.
Hello, my name is Travis Williams, President and CEO of Academics and Athletic Consulting, focusing on educating and empowering tomorrow's collegiate athletic leaders. My passion is for the education and genuine concern and care for today's student athlete. It's the centerpiece of my life's work. A college education, both in and out of the classroom, is a truly rewarding benefit. For more information on AAC, you can go to www.academicsandathleticsconsulting.com. Once again, www.academicsandathleticsconsulting.com. Or you can follow me on Facebook at Academics and Athletic Consulting, or Twitter at Coach TWill24, or Instagram Travis L. Williams 24. Or you can call me at 404-542-6079. Once again, AAC is very proud to partner with J.R. McHenry of the Bossman Radio Show, covering sports and entertainment across the country. Please tune in weekly for informative, entertaining, and expert analysis on today's sports and entertainment topics. Thank you.
Folks, back in the JR the Bossman show. As promised, we're joined by the Atlanta's Chris Kirschner. Talk about your Atlanta Hawks here on the Bossman show. Chris, man, I know you've been busy with the draft lottery, the combine, and everything. How's it been going for you the offseason so far, brother?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely busy, even though the Hawks were obviously eliminated from the playoffs. You know, the one thing with the NBA is there really isn't an off season, because you always have something to do, whether it is the draft or the combine, like you said. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely been pretty busy.
Yes, indeed. And were you at the draft lottery party, and how was the vibe there when the picks came out? There was the 8th and 10th pick, not what the fans and the team wanted, but you still had 2 first-round picks in the top 10.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I talked to Hawks owner Tony Ressler, because I was actually in Chicago for the lottery itself. Actually in the room when the ping pong balls came out. But, you know, I talked to the Hawks owner, Tony Ressler, and as he said, I mean, you know, they have 2 top 10 picks. So, you know, it's hard for an organization to be really upset with that, because, you know, anytime you get 2 top 10 picks in any sports draft, you know, you have to make them work. And, you know, that's what the Hawks have to do right now.
Exactly. And just coming off today when you get the Hawks with a Trae Young, first-team All-NBA rookie, Kevin Huerter, second-team All-NBA rookie, and you have 2 other picks to add to it, hopefully a Cam Reddish or that cat from Texas at the 10th pick. You're going to have 5 young rookies who can develop together, and the Hawks will be very formidable down the road where you have 5 first-round top-flight draft picks. If you don't throw in number 6 with Amari Spellman there as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think right now, from what we saw from the Hawks this past season, I mean, obviously they win 29 games, and it's not really a number that should be celebrated all that much. But when you look at what this team accomplished, a lot of people thought heading into the season 20 games, if they won that, would be a lot. And I think they definitely exceeded expectations. And then you possibly add 2 more draft picks to the young foundation that they already have right now. And we're talking about a team that could definitely be one of the more exciting and one of the more successful teams in the NBA moving forward.
And I'm saying Travis Schlenk is really doing a great job. You know, he came from up through Miami with Pat Riley. He was in Golden State all those years, and he learned out there. I mean, he is really building through the draft here. And he has 3 second-round picks, which I doubt he'll use all 3. Maybe you can package all 3 for a late first, maybe, or, draft and stash some of those guys or sell those picks off. So he has options with those second-round picks as well after you make those first 2 picks of 8 and 10 there.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the one thing about Travis is that, in the 2 years that he's been in Atlanta, he's hit on, pretty much every single pick that he's made. He got John Collins and Kevin Huerter, both at 19 in their drafts. And both guys have turned into the steals of their drafts up until this point. So I think for the Hawks fans who are kind of disappointed with the way the lottery turned out, I mean, just look at what Schlenk has done in these past 2 years. I think you have to have confidence in what he's already done. So I think the Hawks definitely have a lot of options of what they can do. As you mentioned, they do have 3 second-round picks in this draft. And Travis has said before that, they're probably not going to add 5 rookies to this team because, that would just be too much. So there's definitely possibilities of what they can do. As you said, I mean, they could package some picks and try to get back into the first round. They could package some picks and, try and acquire a young player. I mean, there are a lot of options when you have 5 picks in a draft.
And Chris, what I'll try to tell the listeners before you came on here is that Travis was a assistant coach first before he transitioned to the front office role. So Travis can see it from a coach and a player perspective. He played ball himself, and he can see it as a front office perspective. So he has the whole matrix of how to evaluate talent. He played, he coached, and he evaluates. So he has all 3. So he has a good trained eye for a player. And that's why fans should be more open and more optimistic rather than be down about not getting Zion.
Yeah, for sure. And, throughout the season, Travis made his way to plenty of Hawks games, but the ones that he wasn't at, he was on the road scouting. He doesn't take days off. So, again, yes, there's some disappointment to be had. The team doesn't win the lottery, so obviously they can't get Zion Williamson. But, from what we've seen out of Travis so far, I think Hawks fans should be excited about the possibility of adding 2 top 10 picks when we've already seen that in Travis's 2 years, he's had success. So, to have this kind of draft where you have 5 picks and you can do a lot of damage, really solidify this young core. So I definitely think there should be more excitement than I've seen out of Hawks fans.
Yes, indeed. And also, Chris, having 8 and 10 now, to me, allows you to be more flexible in free agency. What I mean by that is you can now trade for a bad contract to maybe waive like you did with Melo, or you can get an extra pick out of somebody for a bad contract. You don't have to sign anybody because you're going to have 5 rookies locked into rookie scale contracts. So that's on the books right there. So you have room on the books now to maybe take on a bad contract and get a sweetener or 2 to help your team down the road.
Yeah, for sure. And as we've seen out of the Hawks so far, they're not scared to take on those bad contracts. They did the Miles Plumlee deal when they sent off Dwight Howard, and obviously Plumlee, he's getting paid $12 million per year, but, they got rid of someone who they didn't want in the organization anymore in Dwight Howard. So I mean, the Hawks have shown that they're not afraid to do those kinds of deals, and it really wouldn't surprise me if they do another one of those deals in the offseason. You look around the league, you have guys like Alan Crabb from the Brooklyn Nets. I think he's getting like $18 million a year. He's on an expiring contract. Perhaps the Nets want to accelerate their rebuilding process, and they package Crabb with their first-round pick. I think it's 16, if I'm correct. You also have the Clippers and Danilo Gallinari, who's making, I think, $21 million, and the Clippers want to make moves in free agency, get a guy like Kawhi Leonard possibly. So he can definitely be someone that the Hawks are interested in, and I think he would fit really well with the way he shoots the ball. So, yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of options the Hawks can go, because they do have the salary cap flexibility. They have a maximum cap space of right around $40 million this offseason, and they have 5 draft picks. So, there are a lot of options the Hawks can take.
Yeah, and I would maybe package Bazemore and Plumlee to do like a bad-on-bad contract situation where you take on more money and get your extra pick, where you just have one player and get rid of 2 and add 1 and just take on an extra pick, so you can have the flexibility to have a young guy on the roster, like maybe a Deontay Davis, maybe, if he's trying to turn into something in summer league here coming up here real soon.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there are options. I don't know if it's possible to package both Bazemore and Plumlee in the same deal, just because I don't know of many teams that would want both those bad contracts on the books, maybe one of them, and if anything, separate deals. I just don't think Plumlee has really much value at this point of his career. If anything, he's probably a third center on a team. Bazemore definitely has value. He definitely fell off after he sprained his ankle. So I think teams are probably going to want to see him perform at the level he was at the beginning of last season, just to see, like, okay, did he get his explosion back? Can he still be a useful piece? Before the injury happened to Bazemore, I definitely think that if he stayed healthy, the Hawks could have gotten quite a nice return, because Bazemore was playing some of the best basketball of his career. I know he's definitely one of those guys that Hawks fans love to ridicule because of his contract, but you look at those first couple of months of the season this past year, and you could definitely make the case that Bazemore was the team's best or second best player. So I think fans sometimes forget about that. But as far as his contract goes, I think what we're going to see, especially if he is on the trade market, which, I mean, he's been for several years now, but I think teams are probably going to want to see him return to his normal self, which it shouldn't be an issue. I mean, it was just a sprained ankle, and having the offseason to recover should definitely get his explosion back, and we should see the old Bazemore.
I'm thinking, Chris, that Dwayne Dedmon's probably going to get big money elsewhere, that he probably won't be back with the Hawks, and you'll probably see Alex Len starting again next year at the center. Yeah,
that's probably my thinking as of now. Dedmon definitely did really good things in his couple seasons in Atlanta. He's definitely turned into one of the better shooting bigs in all of the NBA. So I definitely think he's deserving of a big payday. I just don't think it makes much sense for the team to give him that payday to be Atlanta, just because, as you mentioned, Alex Len. I think Alex showed that, if Dedmon didn't return to the Hawks, that the Hawks do have a young center who's making $4.5 million, 25 years old. He can develop into something. I mean, he still hasn't reached his full potential yet. I mean, this was his first season this past year shooting threes. He shot 36% from the field on over 200 attempts across the year. So I definitely think that what we saw out of Alex kind of lessens the blow of losing someone like Dedmon. I mean, again, the Hawks could decide to re-sign him. I just don't think that's what's going to happen, just because I think Dedmon can probably get somewhere around $10 million to $12 million a year. And I just don't think the Hawks, where they're at right now, should pay that amount of money to a center.
And I'm assuming that Travis will probably give Justin Anderson a qualifying offer, see what he gets on the open market, and maybe bring him back at that $3.6 million figure of his qualifying offer.
You said Justin Anderson?
Yeah. Then he'll probably give him a qualifying offer and bring him back at that number, or maybe say, nah, we will see what you get, and if you come back, we'll give you the vet minimum maybe.
That's probably the option that they're likely going to go. I just don't think giving Anderson the qualifying offer makes a lot of sense, because if the Hawks do that, I believe his qualifying offer is $3.6 million. But if they give him if they give him the qualifying offer, he's then a $7.5 million cap hit. And for a guy who didn't really play all that much throughout the season, and Anderson was, an end of the bench guy, someone who got in the garbage time. So I just don't think paying someone $3.6 million to be an end of bench guy really makes a bunch of sense, even though he was definitely someone that was beneficial in the locker room. Both Trae Young and Kevin Huerter credited Anderson to being that mentor that they really went to throughout the season. But again, I don't know how much that really matters at the end of the day if his on-court production doesn't match up with the kind of salary that he would get if he did receive that qualifying offer. So I think if Anderson did return to the Hawks, he would probably have to do so through free agency. I mean, he is a restricted free agent, so I think the Hawks will probably, see what he can get on the open market, and then decide at that point, okay, like we can afford him to and bring him back.
Chris, I got a couple more for you, Chris. Torian Prince, DeAndre Bembry, I think they're competing for a spot on the roster. I don't think you can keep both of them at this point with how the draft is falling right now, 8 and 10. You can't really keep both. So I'm thinking that it's coming to a point maybe next year that you got to decide whether you're going to keep DeAndre Bembry or Torian Prince as your injury guy off the bench at the 3.
Yeah, I think what we're going to see this summer is going to tell us a lot about how the Hawks view both of these guys, because both Bembry and Prince are both eligible for rookie extensions. Now, I don't know if either of them are going to receive a rookie extension, just because I think both guys have shown that they're useful in some situations, but for where the Hawks are at right now in the rebuilding process and where they want to be, I don't know necessarily if either of them fit perfectly with the trajectory of the future. I think what we've seen out of both Bembry, very good defender, can't really shoot that well. If he wants to have a future on this team, we've seen Lloyd Pierce and Travis Schlenk really prioritize shooting over anything, and Bembry just isn't a really good shooter right now. So, that definitely might hinder his future with the Hawks. As far as Prince goes, definitely one of the more polarizing players on the roster. Quietly, he actually had the best numbers of his career this past season. But, the Hawks, when they drafted him, really prioritized him for not only his shooting, but they thought he could be a really high-level defender. And we just didn't see that this past year. When you look at all the metrics, Prince was one of the worst defenders on the team. So I think what we're going to see this summer is that if they don't give Prince or Bembry a rookie extension, or even do any sort of negotiations with either, that heading into next season, I think both those guys are going to be on different teams.
Yes, indeed. And last one I got for you, Vince Carter, back or not with the Hawks, probably, in your opinion?
I think it's going to depend on roster space. If the Hawks do get at least 3 rookies in this draft and have them, be on the Hawks roster heading into next season, that would give the Hawks 12 guaranteed deals. And depending on what the team does in free agency, Vince is definitely someone that is useful to have around, especially, to mentor the young guys, which he did really, really well this past season. But again, if we're talking about on the court performance, Vince offers very little at this point of his career. Definitely a really good 3-point shooter. But again, he's very limited in what he can do because of his age. So I think if the Hawks do have an open roster spot toward the end of the summer, which is when the Hawks signed him last year, I definitely think he'd return. But again, I think they're going to prioritize other guys before they actually cycle back with Vince. I really would be shocked if come July 1st, which is when free agency begins, that the Hawks announce a deal for him at that time.
Got you. Well, Chris Kirschner, you did it again, brother. You broke it down for the Hawks, for our fans. So thank you, my brother. And
Yep.
we'll hope to talk to you again down the road, man, in July, August, maybe, buddy.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
All right, folks, it's Chris Kirschner of Athletic on the Bossman Show, covering your Atlanta Hawks.
Hip hop fans, I got a great album for you. The debut album from Family Grind ENT, True Speech and 313 Fresh. We're going to give you 2 discs, 33 songs of pure, genuine hip hop. Albums available on iTunes, Amazon, Google Play, illstreetrex.com, and streaming live right now on Rhapsody, Beats Music, Spotify, Xbox Music, Slacker Radio, and SoundCloud. Check them out today. True Speech and 313 Fresh. Family Grind ENT. Believe in it. Get it.
A gorgeous tan from Suntan City gives you an inner glow that relights the fire when you run into your first crush.
Vicky, who was that?
An old boyfriend.
Lucky you just tanned at Suntan City.
Lucky he's single. We're doing lunch tomorrow.
Won't be single for long then.
During Tour of the City, try all 5 tans, including spray tan, for just $4.99. Restrictions may apply. Click to buy now.
Suntan City, let yourself shine.
When you're a teen, you finally get to make some of your own decisions. Who are you going to hang out with? What do you want to be? Are you going to glance at that text while driving? Remember, a split second is all it takes for something tragic to happen. Be in the zone. Turn off your phone. Visit childrenshospital.vanderbilt.org/BITZ to learn more about our teen driver safety program. Brought to you by Monroe Carroll Jr. Children's Hospital at Vanderbilt, the Ford Motor Company Fund, and the Allstate Foundation.
It's maybe the night that my dreams might let me know. All the stars are closer. All the stars are closer.
Tell me what you gonna do to me. Confrontation ain't nothing new to me. You could bring a bullet, bring a sword, bring a morgue, but you can't bring the truth to me.
Alexa, play Kendrick Lamar and SZA.
Okay.
Maybe the night that my dreams might let me know. All the stars are closer.
With Amazon Music, a voice is all you need. Get tens of millions of songs. Download the Amazon Music app today.
Yeah, it's your man JC, the host with the most, baby, and it goes down each and every Saturday night right here in the city of Memphis. That's right, y'all. It goes down at Clicks Sports Bar Memphis, baby. 3705 Malco Way, Memphis, Tennessee, 38125. Come out and join us, the Three Kings, each and every Saturday night for the livest karaoke in the city. Everybody gets in free till 10 p.m. Only $5 after. Great food. We got drink specials. We got all kind of games, man. We got the pool tables popping. Whatever you want, we got you, man. Come on out. Have a good time with us each and every Saturday night. That's Clicks Sports Bar, Memphis.